question that answers itself. From one point of view, the answer ought to be it should stop. However, I'm not on the ground. I'm not dealing with day-to-day difficulties that others are. So I think we would be cautious about saying it's got to stop, because there are two peoples living alongside, or trying to live alongside each other, and therefore there has to be a spirit in which some form of cooperation occurs. However, there is a big rider, as far as I'm concerned, to that cooperation, is that, and only in the hearts and minds of those involved who can really tell whether this line has been crossed. It's all very well for that cooperation to occur, but there is the possibility of a different perception, that the cooperation that is in a sense being forced on the Palestinian authorities, because they are incarcerated, and I don't just mean Gaza. They are occupied, and we make the point in here in the report, we haven't really made it at this stage, but I want to make it now, that basically for Israel to be saying it's defending itself is a complete misnomer. It is absolutely incorrect. That is not what they're doing. They're an occupying force using acts of aggression. And the Palestinian response is therefore understandably difficult, as no doubt it was during the Second World War for the French resistance. And actually, you can't cooperate fully because you will be selling your souls. And that's the problem. There may be some form of cooperation that is necessary just to survive tomorrow. But, as I say, the rider is this, that if in so doing you are opening yourself to a form of intellectual and psychological corruption, because then you no longer have the ability to withstand that. And it's a corruption that stems from the United States of America and the way they fund what is going on. They bankroll what is going on. Now, just coming to the point we started with, yes, we do call for the Palestinian Authority to sign up. Now, I'm very keen on this, because the last time we had a full session, as opposed to a round-up session here, was in New York. It was in the autumn of not last year, but the year before. And we had the opportunity, as we had this afternoon, to the European Parliament, to address the United Nations about the failure of the United Nations itself to follow through. Using the wall analogy, they ask for an opinion, they get an opinion, and they do nothing about it. So we are saying to the United Nations, you have a responsibility, along with everybody else, to take action. Now, as far as I could gather, we had considerable impact at that moment. They don't often get addressed in this way by people who are bothered about the law, as Roger just said. You know, sometimes it's as though we're on a different planet, that none of these conventions have been, as it were, acted upon, and they've been stuck in some room at the back of the United Nations and they forget about them. So they took that impact at that point, but that moment was important because weeks later, possibly days later, there was a vote, and I'm coming back to why we're asking for the Palestinian Authority. There was a vote in the United Nations, in the General Assembly. And those of you who follow these matters will remember, it was overwhelmingly in favour of granting Palestine an upgrade, if you like, a form of status, observer status. And Abbas delivered a magnificent, rousing speech about the rights of self-determination and the rights of the Palestinians, which brought everybody to their feet. That was amazing. What's the point of that speech? What's the point of getting world opinion on your side unless you follow it through? And what happened, and I'm just going to spend a little time on this because we need to remember, the United States said no to this. They didn't want that. I'll come to why they didn't want it. The United Kingdom performed their usual role. Perfidious Albion. They, in fact, abstained. Every time there's a slight difficulty, no, we can't commit ourselves to that. And we want to keep in with them, and we want to keep in with them, so we just won't vote at all. or we'll abstain. So they abstained. And what the pressure that was being brought on to Abbas was not to make the speech at all by those nations, both of whom have got a veto in the Security Council, the one place that could refer the whole thing to the ICC. So those nations continue to bring pressure to bear on the Palestinians. And what is really going on, I've no doubt, behind the scenes, is that you, Abbas, sign up and you're going to lose your finance. You're not going to be able to rebuild at all, never mind what's happened already. So this is the iniquity of the situation that is being faced. So whilst I don't want to compromise genuine cooperation for the purposes of genuine reconstruction, I am extremely concerned that that cooperation is laying a foundation for vulnerability, collusion and corruption. And I think that it is a disgrace that it has not been signed and ratified, because that was the point of the speech in November 18 months ago. So that's a rather long response, but that's the context. Sorry, anyway.